Hey guys, Jacob here. A couple weeks ago I was out sailing and broke my cleat on my mast for my Hobie 16. Wasn't too bad wind or anything, but we were just out trying to tighten up the jib a little bit. Put a little bit too much pressure on that cleat and it sheared those rivets right off. So today we're going to go ahead and fix that cleat, reinstall a new one. We got some brand new rivets and everything. And with that as well, we're gonna go through and put up some hangers. Actually these guys right here, we're gonna go ahead and throw these hangers up on the side of the house. Make sure that's all. So we're gonna throw those hangers up on the side of the house so that way the mast won't be just sitting in my backyard like it is right now. We'll be able to take it off once I'm out done sailing and washing it off, then I can hang it up on the side of the house and it'll be covered up by the eave. That'll help take out a lot of the weather variable and help dry it out a lot better so that way we don't get it rusting. So we'll do that, we'll fix the cleat, and then we'll also be replacing some lines today, so stay tuned. Okay, to start us out, there's a couple of things that we're going to want to get together to go ahead and hang these hangers on the wall, replace the cleat, and replace all the lines. So the first thing is going to be a tape measure, so that way we can properly locate the hangers, as well as masking tape, which isn't really required, but I'm going to use it to mask off where I want the hangers to lay on the mast. Then we also have a drill. I have masonry bits because my house is a cinder block and stucco construction, so I want to make sure that I use the correct bit. And please verify your house type or the material that you're drilling into prior to choosing a bit. Next up we have the hangers as well as a level. The level's not really necessary, but since the weight capacity of these hangers is about 50 pounds into studs, I want to make sure the weight is evenly distributed because the Hobie 16 mast weighs anywhere from 40 to 60 pounds, so we really want to make sure that the weight's evenly distributed. These hangers are pretty cheap. They're a steal from just a local hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot. You can pick up a pair. They're less than 10 bucks. For the actual installation, we have a couple items here. We are going to be using silicone to seal the back side of the hangers, so that way we don't get water stuck behind it. So we'll use alcohol to pre-clean, then apply the silicone, install the hangers, and clean it up and make it look nice and pretty if we need to. For installing the cleat, I still have my cleat since it didn't fall in the water whenever it broke. So I'm going to use that existing cleat, and I'm just going to go ahead and install some new stainless steel rivets. These are 3/16 diameter by 3/8 inch grip, 3/8 inch grip. You really want to make sure that you have the correct grip size, because if you don't, then the rivet will not pull properly. Speaking of pulling, we do need a rivet puller as well. I just have a manual rivet puller from Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the two. It already has the right nose piece in it, so make sure you're using the correct nose piece, otherwise the rivet won't pull properly either. For a little bit of a snafu with the jib cleat, but let's go ahead and replace the halyards now. So go ahead and set the mainsail halyard off to the side, and we'll go ahead and start with the jib. So I have both of the lines currently cleated to the same point, so I'm just going to go ahead and untie them. This is actually the jib, and then this should be the main sheet. So the main sheet, I'm actually going to move to this side and then untangle these lines as we go down. Well, I never quite understand how this little eyelet gets stuck in here. So correction. This line is actually the main sheet line. This is the jib. Or this is main sheet. So to get that out, we're just gonna go ahead and well, that's supposed to stay in there, but regardless, we're gonna wanna go ahead and move this line around everything. And then this should just be normal bowline. So we're just gonna break the knot. There we go. Ooh, this line is old. You can see that original color in there. Okay. So that is a tiny little telltale that probably doesn't really work. So you might take that off too. So we'll go ahead and measure this up to the current line and see how it unfolds. We'll actually grab main sheet first this time since we have it here. Go ahead and line the two ends up. Their halyard was actually larger, so I guess they replaced their halyard at one point. Yeah, about spot on. Theirs was a little bit longer, but we'll go ahead and keep the old halyard just in case something goes wrong. Ooh. Starting to get warmer out, and there's some mosquitoes. Okay. Throw that guy right there. Go ahead and take the halyard line. Go ahead and put some tension on it, makes it easier. So bend over, down, up, around, and then down through the loop. Make it nice and tight. Alright, that should be good to go. So there's that one. Now let's go ahead and look at this jib, which this jib is very oddly strung. This would provide no benefit whatsoever. So we're just gonna tie it to this bottom piece and go from there. And if needed, I'll re-rig it. And that is that a properly tied bowline? I don't think so. So this looks like it's gonna be fun to take out. Matter of fact, not even worth the time, let's just cut it. Okay, got the knife, so we'll just go ahead and alright. Now with the line cut, makes it real easy. See, this is supposed to be a pulley, but I don't really know why. So, come back over here again. We'll measure it out just to make sure there's not any huge discrepancies or things that make me question what I've done. So, go ahead and line them back up again. Oh, and this one's actually a little bit longer, so I guess whoever just cut these last time just kind of cut them to cut them rather than actually looking up what the factory line lengths are. So we'll keep that one as well, just in case. Now we'll go back up and we'll just tie a bowline right here. I'm gonna step on this wire again. So that way I can pull some tension. Up, around, up, and back through. I don't want to cut my line again, so that's why I was making as small of a tag end as I could. So that's a proper bowline because you should just be able to break it, and then this piece loosens up. But go ahead and tighten it back down. And once you get out there today, it'll tighten up as well, so that should be good. And I'm gonna look this up in the meantime and see if I need to do anything special with it. So now we can go ahead and tie these guys back up. Oh man, I've been having issues with this lately. Alright, let's go ahead and find the other side to this. Here it is. So, to actually go, we'll go under both of these and then work it out once we get there.
And this would be why this one was a little bit longer to begin with, because there's no way to tie this off. So we'll just half hitch it and call it good. So there's the new halyard lines, and then we'll go ahead and try and get this thing, try and see if we can find a rivet puller that will work for the jib cleat, because I do want to get that jib cleat done. So see you back when I can figure out the jib cleat. So my halyard cleat actually sheared off at the rivets. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is actually drill them out before we get ready to reinstall them. So to drill them out, we're just gonna need a drill bit that's a little bit bigger or about the same size as the shank of the rivet. So the goal is that we drill this head down, and right where the head connects to the shank, we sever that off so we can just push the shank through. So I'm gonna go ahead and lightly, a little firmly clamp this up, grab the drill, and these are stainless steel rivets, so I am gonna use a slow speed because stainless steel work hardens. So we'll just position directly on where the pin sits and just go a little bit at a time. So we don't want to bite into the plastic at all. And there we go. See, pops right off. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this guy. And these actually look like they're aluminum rivets. So we should be a really nice upgrade with putting stainless steel rivets on. And voila, second rivet done. So now we'll just go ahead and get something to push them through. So I have this punch right here. Normally if I was at work, I would use a punch that's a lot smaller, but as far as what I have here, this is it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and align that up and just give it some nice taps, and I can feel it moving down. So I'm only gonna be able to get it down a little bit because this punch doesn't fit in all the way. We don't wanna use the drill because then we'll dull the drill, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use a Phillips head and see how much, and there you go, popped right out. A little bit stuck on this guy, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. And here you can see the rest of the rivet. So this corrosion is white, which normally if this was a stainless steel you would see the orange corrosion, so this probably is, and especially given the color of that fresh metal from where we just cut, it most likely is an aluminum rivet. So let's just go ahead and knock this other one out. And there we go, nice and clean. We'll make sure to wipe it down with isopropyl and everything whenever we go to rivet it back on. So I'll go ahead and test fit up the rivets, and I'll see you out there for the install. Okay, back out here with the updated nose piece. Doesn't fit perfectly, but it should be pretty good. So let me go ahead and prop this up with my foot. We will once again put this up top. And this is the thinnest nose piece that I was able to find, but I still had to file down these edges. So you should be good with any nose piece. Just know that you're gonna have to file it down in order to get the nose piece to fit down in here. So now we got these set, we'll go ahead and pin the top in first. We'll spread our silicone around for the wet installation. So you don't need much, it'll pull tight. Go ahead and pop it in. And then since this one's like this, we're gonna wanna line this up in line with it. Make sure that we're as far down in as we can. And then we'll pretty much just crank it down until it pops. Oh, there we go. Whew. Well, that's in there nice and tight now. So go ahead and do this other side. So when you do this, you just want a little bit on the shank, not too much, but not too little. So then go ahead and squeeze that on down in. And same thing, we'll line the pin up, push down. And voila. Alright, so back outside, got everything laid out. It's a little bit windy today, so hopefully the sound isn't too bad. So I have tape marked out on the mast at 5 feet from the end. So this is going to be about where we're going to try and line up these hangers. So since I have this window right here, I'm going to try and position this just below the window so that way this isn't in the way. So I'll go ahead and drill this one and install it, and then go ahead and measure the other one out, making sure that it's level. So we'll go ahead and get out the Sharpie, mark our lines where we want it at. This looks pretty good, so I'm just gonna mark right next to it in a way that I can hopefully see. Okay, so that should be good, and if I line those up, they should be good to go. But actually, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the level and just remark these. So this one's gonna go right here, and this one's gonna go right here. Can't really see either of those. But they're more or less on the same line. So now that we've done that, go ahead and grab the drill. So we got two sizes of drills here, a 1/4 and a 5/16. I'm gonna start out with the 1/4 since there were not any instructions. And then we'll test to see how far in we are from here, so we'll know we need to go at least halfway. I didn't bring any tape out, so we'll just kind of actually go ahead and rip a little piece of this off. So once we get this far in, we'll know that we're plenty far in. Alright, so we'll just line it up directly on. This stucco is pretty deep. There we go, made it all the way through there. And now our next one is right here. Alright. So, now that we have those holes drilled, go ahead and take a little bit of isopropyl and clean all that dust off. Right. Now we have the anchor. We can go ahead and test fit it and see. It does not seem like that's going to go in, so let's go ahead and bump up to the next size drill. And these are masonry bits, so we're just going to center it on. Just open that up. Go ahead and clean off the outside again. We can go ahead and insert it in. So we'll grab the hammer out in a moment and open that up. So we'll go ahead and open this one up as well. And we can go ahead and insert this guy into the hole. So we'll go ahead and grab the hammer and be right back. Alright, so back out with the hammer. I'm using a non-metallic hammer with a plastic and a rubber side because I don't want to destroy anything. So I'm going to go ahead and use the rubber side until I can't anymore. And that's good, that's in there nice and tight. And so is that one. So now we're ready to go ahead and get the installation ready. So to do this, we're going to silicone it, which means that we want to also clean the back of this section, so that way there's nothing on it. We'll go ahead and use this to clean out the tube. Alright. Now we got the first little bit of the tube cleaned out. We can go ahead and apply our silicone. So you always want to go around fastener holes and then just zigzag all the way down. And we'll come back through at the end and seal all of the edges. So with this, go ahead and grab our drill. Make sure everything lines up, and then alright, so that's on there nice and strong. Might want to just to pull that to it. And then anywhere there's a little bit of squeeze out, I'm just gonna clean that up real quick. Tap the silicone back off and we're good to go. We'll wait to do the final until afterwards. So at least now behind it, we have it sealed, and then we'll come through and put a fillet all the way around afterwards. So on this guy, since we're already done and we can see the squeeze out, we're just gonna go ahead and run the bead down the side. Run the bead down the other side. And then also run a bead around the top. The goal here is just to make sure that we don't get any water intrusion. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and switch this around to a moderately sized radius. And it's never pretty with stucco, but it'll be good enough. Go ahead and come over here and do the same thing. The nice thing is, since this is white, it blends in pretty well. and that'll about do it. So we'll go ahead and let the silicone cure. The silicone will actually help keep it on the wall as well. So I just want to make sure that's at full strength as well before we actually put any weight on it. So tomorrow, see you out here, and we'll go ahead and put the mast up on the hangers. So hopefully it looks pretty good. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean up all of that dust. So see you tomorrow to do the final hang.